is Pastor Susan, and welcome to our last day this week of devotions as we are following in the footsteps of Jesus that takes us to the outcast. And today we are going to be focusing out of Matthew's Gospel on actually the call of Matthew. Listen to these words that tell us a little bit about Matthew and about why Jesus calls him. Listen to these words from Matthew chapter 9, verses 9 through 13. As Jesus was walking along, he saw a man called Matthew sitting at a tax booth, and he said to him, "Follow me." And Matthew got up and followed him. And as he sat at dinner in the house, many tax collectors and sinners came and were sitting with him and his disciples. When the Pharisees saw this, they said to his disciples, "Why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners?" But when he heard this, he said, "Those who are well have no need for a physician, but those who are sick. Go and learn what this means. I desire mercy, not sacrifice. For I have come to call not the righteous, but the sinners." So, one of the things that I kind of find fascinating in the gospel texts are these stories of calling. And it sounds like, if you just look at them at face value, it sounds like Jesus shows up somewhere and just says, "You follow me," and they leave. You know, whether it's a fisherman or a tax collector or somebody else, he just calls them and they magically just leave everything and follow him. You know, put some common sense into this equation. Of course, there was more to the story than just that. Of course, when Jesus asks or invites Matthew, the tax collector, to follow him, there has been some kind of previous connection that Jesus has had with him. Whether it is Matthew showing up for some of Jesus's teachings or healings, he has seen Matthew and he has determined that this is someone who needs to be a part of his community. And so Jesus reaches out to him and he invites him to come, and Matthew comes. He leaves everything because he knows that Jesus has something that he's looking for. You know, outcast people don't necessarily have to be people who are living in poverty or that are dealing with illness or mental illness. It can be people who have lots of money, who in some ways are more lost than those who are living on the streets. And Matthew was one of these. And so I find it fascinating that right after Jesus calls Matthew, they go have a party at his house. And who does Matthew invite? He invites people like him. He invites more tax collectors. He invites others who are called sinners to this table of fellowship. And of course, we're told in our text today that the Pharisees just don't understand this. They are really clueless about what Jesus is up to. And they ask his disciples, "Why would your master be eating with tax collectors and sinners?" Jesus' response to that is, people who are well don't need who are well don't need a physician. The problem is they thought they were well, so they thought that they didn't need Jesus, and they did. They did even more so in a lot of ways than people who were aware of their own need for God. And so Jesus says, "Learn from me what this means, that when God says I desire mercy and not sacrifice." The Pharisees were really into this whole system of making offerings and sacrifice and thinking that that was something that would please God. What pleases God is mercy. And Jesus had it in abundance, and he shared it abundantly, and it made a difference in people's lives. And so today, as we think about this story of calling, I want us to consider what Jesus means when he says, I desire mercy and not sacrifice. Because part of the story of calling is when we recognize our need to follow Jesus. When we recognize that we don't have it all together, and that the faith journey, the spiritual journey, is one in which every single day, Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one thing is you. And so today, may we take a look at ourselves and see our need for God and ask for mercy, and then also give it because we have spent time with Jesus. God is inviting everyone to be a part of this community of faith. Who can we reach out to? And how can we, in our own brokenness, in our own feelings of being outcast, in our own struggles that we find ourselves in, how can we find that life, that living water, that healing, that wholeness that Jesus the Christ offers? Let's open ourselves and let's offer it to others who need to know that He loves them, just like He loves you and me. May it be so. Amen and amen.